Good morning, everyone. I am Bhavesh Atodaria from Sivashish Vidyalay, Kamraj, Surat. Today, we are going to discuss about the third chapter of Flamingo book, Deep Water, written by William Douglas. In his story, William Douglas talks about his fear of water and how he finally overcame with his determination and hard work, how he decided to work hard behind that. Because the fear is a kind of thing that always haunt us frequently now and then, and that does not allow us to enjoy the rest part of our life. Even he has worked such a hard way that can motivate anyone in the field of any kind of work. This is a little bit autobiographical part from his side, that how he has experienced the fear, and then further he confirms about the truth, and then he tried to overcome it. Where there is a will, there is a way. Even one more proverb is there, that there is no shortcut for success and hard work, and one must do hard work for one's own success. Yes, in this chapter, the main role is of narrator himself, William Douglas. The second point is YMCA pool, a swimming pool run by Young Men's Christian Association, who deals with the adventurous trip and work, who encourages people, the young generation and everyone, to overcome the fear and do their best. Even then, there is a name of a river named Yakima River, which is the part of Washington. The story tells us that how our writer overcame with the fear of water and how he learned swimming with his sheer determination and willpower. He had developed a terror of water since his childhood age, and when he went with his father on a beach of California, there he drowned into the water. Father felt it is common thing he would get up, but he could not. And later on, what had happened, that he developed fear of water from there only. Later on, when he joined this YMCA pool to learn swimming, he couldn't do well. He had always fear of water in his heart. Whenever he tried to go, that fear of water always haunted him. And here he developed a permanent fear of water, because when one of the healthy boy came and lift him up, threw him to the deep end of water, he couldn't help himself to come out. He worked hard, and he tried thrice to come out, but he couldn't somehow, because the fear, whatever he decided and couldn't do that much. Finally, he lost his all the hopes and felt he is going to die. But somehow he was saved, and while he came out, for certain years he could not go near any water bodies. When he went, he always felt that fear, and whenever he went to the water adventure, water sports, he could not enjoy it much, because always the fear was there. And because of that, he decided that he should overcome this fear anyhow, and with sheer determination, step by step, he did it. He hired one coach, and step by step that coach taught him how to go ahead, and one day he got success. Let us see it through our pages of the textbook. Okay. In the beginning, it is said that it happened when he was a 10 years old child and he joined YMCA pool. Mother has always warned him about the river Yakima, which is treacherous. Which is treacherous means you can't imagine, you can't decide how much depth it has, and you can be drawn into it. That fear again always remained there. But this YMCA pool is a safer one, because it was only 2 or 3 feet deep at shallow side and 9 feet deep at deep side. So he got a pair of water wings also to learn swimming. And here he said, I hated to walk barefoot, because he was so skinny, he was so thin, but he overcame that also. He said that I have to learn, so he went there. He said that there was from the beginning he had an aversion with water. Aversion means a kind of strong feeling, dislike that always it should be avoided, and he always avoided water for that. But here he had to be with that, be in that, and he had to learn that. This fear, as I told you, has been developed when he was very young, went to California beach with father, and there he drowned, and the fear developed. Here, his introduction to YMCA swimming pool revived his unpleasant memory of that California beach. The author says his introduction to YMCA swimming pool was also not good. He always felt that childhood fear, and here he felt same. But here he says that in little while he gathered confidence by seeing others and started learning how to be in water, how to be with the wings of water that has been given. And while watching other boys, he thought, let me do the same way, and he did, and he could do better. But he has that fear that stopped him to do something better or to go ahead in that. He said that I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease. Yes, twice or thrice when he practiced a lot, he felt it ease that now I am little bit cool at the water buddies, and no misadventure had happened by now. So he was somehow confident. But when he decided to go the pool, it was the time I went to the pool when no one else was there. He says, I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet, the water was still, and the tile bottom was as wide as clean as bathtub. The pool was totally quiet and still, so it was quite easily visible, the tile bottom also, because nobody was there in water. Here, he was just sitting aside of the pool, and misadventure happened here. When writer was waiting for others to join the pool, one healthy boy came, a big bruiser like boy came there, and he saw narrator sitting over there. He just said that, hi, hello, skinny. Skinny means how thin you are. So he was called just with a fun that, hi, skinny, how are you? And how would you like to be ducked? How would you like to be ducked? And he just, with that, he picked him up, tossed him into the deep end of the water. And that has been the dangerous part of his life. He was thrown in such a way, he landed into the water in sitting position. He swallowed water and went at once to the bottom of the water. This has frightened the narrator at all, but not that much that he couldn't come up with his power. So while going down, he decided that when I will go down, as soon as my feet will touch the bottom, I will kick it and go up with a double speed and go out of the water and catch something outside. But he couldn't do that. It seemed a long way to down. These 9 feet were more like than 90. He felt that I am going down and the end doesn't come. I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. When he reached there, he felt my lungs were ready to burst, but when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great for me. Just like he decided to go up just like a cork. He decided to go up like a bottle cork, but he went very slowly, and that has made very much difference in his part of coming out, because if he might have gone very speedily up, he might have gone above the surface level, but he couldn't. He opened his eyes, and what did he see? He could open up to here only. His mouth did not go up, and again he came down second time. This was very dangerous experience for author. But when he came up, he couldn't see else than water only. And when he has seen, it shows him around only yellow tinge of water, and he grew panicky. He felt that what this all? He tried to catch any rope and tried to go up, but he couldn't find anything. He felt suffocating there, and he tried to yell, but sound didn't come out. Then his eyes and nose, which reached up to level, came again back. He failed at the surface level of water and swallowed and choked. He tried to bring his leg up, but he couldn't do anything. He was feeling just like a dead person who weighed nothing. He felt paralyzed and rigid, and a great force was pulling him down again. I screamed, but only water was there. Who was there to listen? Nobody, because the sound couldn't come. Only he was there to listen. Only water was there to hear him. He had started on the long journey back to the bottom again. When second time he was going down, he felt that a kind of force is dragging him inside, and it was irresistible force that he couldn't do anything. He had lost all his breath and his lungs were aching now. He has a lot of pain in his lungs. His head throbbed very strongly, having a heavy headache, and there he found that anyhow I have to go out. Though he was feeling dizzy and vertigo, but he decided to go out anyhow. So he thought that whatever strategy I decided to do in first attempt, I will do it for second attempt too. And here he collect all his strength and tried to do the same. As soon as he strike his feet on the bottom level, but this was again same level. Up to this level he went out, then go up to that level, came back again. This time, this is the third time that he was coming down. He felt that it is endless, the end is not there. And now he opened his eyes. He couldn't see anything, only yellow glow of sunlight. Dark water was totally all over there, and this sheer stark of terror has control over his mind, that he couldn't do anything now. His senses did not help him. His senses could not be controlled by his own mind, but now he was totally seems like a paralyzed person under the water and couldn't do anything. The fear in the heart has locked his mind, couldn't think anything about what to do, what not to do. Even his screams remain inside his throat, and the entire thing seems like a frozen world, and now pounding in his head, and he left all the tries to do. Only his heart and his headache was telling that he is still alive, otherwise the entire body seems lifeless. Now, as I said, he tried second time, but that jump didn't help him any, because the water was still around him, and he looked for ropes or anyone or any ladder or water wings, but he couldn't catch any, and he couldn't find any to go out. And that terror took over and over his mind, and deeper type of fear hold him there in the water. His hands and legs movement had been stopped totally. He tried to call for some help, call for someone, but nothing happened. How could it be? Because the entire part of the body has been controlled by his fear, and he couldn't move any single part of his body. After his hard try, when he tried to come out second time up, he couldn't help much. The entire side of the world seems full of light, and the end was very much near. The third time when he started coming down, he sucked for air and got water, and the yellowish light was going out. The entire part of his mind is becoming dizzy now. He felt his life and is going into the dark. The blackness has overcome entire part of his life. There was no more panic now, because he has accepted his end was near, and it was quiet and peaceful. There isn't any kind of thing to be afraid of. So no fear of death is there. It's nice to be carried away like this, gently floating along in the space. He was feeling like floating along in the space, and then tender arm of mother he felt around him, and she is taking care of me at the last moment of my life. Now he must go to sleep, the permanent sleep. But this was his last feeling, what he understood at last. But it did not happen. He was taken out of the water body, and people around there was there to help him. That big boy who played prank with him was scolded by coach even, but he didn't think that it will happen. Obviously, we also tried many type of pranks with our friends, but sometimes we know that due to fear, sometimes they that type of pranks become the life risk. We should not do like that. Yes. Now next, what had happened, he said that next moment I remembered I was lying flat on the side of the pool. After several hours he started walking to home, and this has been the dangerous experience of his life. This was a kind of new birth, but that new birth has been controlled by a haunting fear of water. Several times he tried to go near the water bodies, but he could not go near that. Always he had feeling of fear of water everywhere. When he went home, he took rest, and all the time he was trembling, could not eat well, and a kind of feeling he couldn't walk well. His knee had pain, or stomach was having different feeling that normal doesn't come. He never went back to that pool again. He feared water and avoided whenever he could. A few years later, when he came to know about the water cascades, he wanted to go into them, but always, as we know, the fear did not go. Triton or bumping river or bathing in warm lake or goat rocks, or the terror that had seized him in all the time had always come before he tried to go ahead for any kind of adventurous work. His leg always became paralyzed when he tried to do something new with the water bodies, and this type of handicapness stayed with him for years. It has always taken away his water joy or water adventure that he decided to do. Even he could not go for fishing. Fishing is a kind of sport, or we can say a kind of hobby that many people have. In our country or foreign country, there are many who even go for that. But here, our narrator, our author Douglas could not go for fishing. Even whenever he tried to go for fishing, the fear was always there, and it had ruined all his joy of being near the water. The joy of canoeing, joy of boating, joy of swimming, joy of fishing, every type of joy has been ruined by the haunting fear. So he decided, he used every way to overcome the fear of water, but nothing had helped him. One October, he decided to hire an instructor and learn swimming. Okay, I will stop here for today, and in second video I will carry on with the second part of the chapter. Thank you for watching video. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.